Hi everyone! My name's Tatiana, proud plant mama of more houseplants than I can count. So let's talk about fungus gnats today. They're kind of the bane of my existence right now. I do have them flying around a lot. Of all of the pests that you could have on your plants though, like mites and God, I'm just blanking on other pests right now, aphids, spider mites, whatever. Fungus gnats are probably the least harmful on your plants. They don't really damage the actual like foliage like other pests do, but on young plants what you do want to worry about is when those little baby gnats are kind of, the eggs are laid and then they're growing before they're flies. They are like eating the roots of young plants and all of that, so that's what we need to deal with. I have tried using some at-home methods and remedies to get rid of them. I've set up like apple cider vinegar traps where I do have flies come in and die. That kind of helps deal with some of the adults. I do spray the plants down with a solution of either oil and soap, apple cider vinegar, maybe some rubbing alcohol and water, different things like that, and it has kind of helped tame some of it. I think it does kill some of the adults, but it hasn't killed the life cycle of the fungus gnats because they are laying eggs in probably the first couple inches of soil that's moist. That's what they like, and it's like every 2 weeks or whatever they're like laying eggs, coming around, dying, whatever. It doesn't matter how many of them you swat, you kind of have to deal with that. So I have kind of gone through my plants that I feel like have the worst fungus gnats and the problems with that, and picked out the two that I felt like were the sources of the problem. So this one is kind of what I call like a Florida mix pot, whatever. I have here a croton plant which had all kind of like died, but now I have like 4 new leaves coming along. It's doing pretty well, which is good. And then I have a couple of different species of Madagascar periwinkle in here. They haven't flowered. They're kind of not doing great. I think they probably are really being affected by those pests. And I also think they just do better in full sunlight. Just haven't really done well with them, but I do still think they look cute in this pot. So I have them. I think I just need more, and I do want to kind of fill this up with a bunch of my like little seeds and things that I have to just kind of create a full like garden of Florida here. And then this one is devastating because I didn't have any problems with pests on this plant. I mistakenly left this plant next to this one here, and I looked and you can see them crawling around. I'll show a clip of them here up close, but it's kind of gross. It's devastating. I'm looking at them right now and I hate it. I see the kind of, they're like silver looking flies before they start flying, like earlier in their phase, and they like are crawling around in the soil, and that's kind of how you can identify them. I do have a couple of, oh my god, I see them flying over there. I do have a couple of bulbs I'm growing on my windowsill right now because it's still too cold to put them out on my balcony. Those are the ones I think that have a problem with it as well, because they're kind of like, I keep them moist to grow them and they kind of seem to be hopping around there. But when I looked up close, I didn't see a lot of problems there. I do think if I kind of deal with these two, hopefully that problem won't be as bad either, and then I can kind of like go from there as well. I think the best way to kind of get rid of them, other than like buying chemicals and like doing all that, which feels like a lot, is to just completely start fresh, put them in completely fresh soil, dispose of the soil completely because they probably still have the eggs of the gnats in here, and just completely repot them. So that is what I'm gonna do today. I have a bag here where I'm gonna put this soil with the bugs and the gnats and everything, close it up and throw it away because I don't want it to spread anymore. And then hopefully I'll let you guys know if that kind of solves it for these plants, which are the plants that I do care the most about. Sorry, I didn't even explain this. This is my fern, which I originally had as a little pup, little baby from my mom's really big fern down in Florida. Like huge, huge, huge. It was only 3 leaves when I had it. It was this leaf here, and this little guy, and it has like doubled its growth. I have 2 new leaves coming along as well, So it is super exciting and I'm very, very happy with that. But I am not happy that I effed up and put it near something where it would have gotten bugs because I didn't have a single issue. I'm gonna try to be as careful with this plant as I can because I do have at least two new leaves coming along. I don't want this to be damaged, but I do feel that this plant has been really good, really resilient, so I'm not worried about her at all. I'm hoping that this will help with the kind of bigger problem I have, but really it's not the worst pests you can have. They just kind of are annoying, and they're starting to annoy me because I do have them in my bedroom with a lot of the plants that I have in here. Hopefully this will solve it. If I need to deal with those, I will. I'm gonna keep trying to do like my at-home remedies with those and hope that helps with the minor things I have there. But if I start to notice, like I did with these plants, the little silvery, gross running around, I'll probably repot. All right, here we go. I have this bag here. I don't know which one to start with, to be completely honest. Maybe this one, because not that I care less, but I feel that this one is probably a little less of a mess with the roots. So I'm just gonna dump it. And the important part of this is to shake all of that soil, like all of it. So I'm starting to, and it fell out, okay. So I'm gonna wash this out too before I reuse it, but what do we have here? I don't mean to throw you all out. But yeah, the point is to kind of completely, like there could be eggs of these gnats still clinging to like any of the soil, so you want to take as much of it off as humanly possible. So I'm gonna start by separating the croton plant. Croton? Croton? Croton. I've heard people say croton. I've heard people say it a lot of ways. Okay, so here is number one. But I have actually gotten really good growth out of it. Like I see a lot of new white roots here, which is super exciting. This one has been pretty resilient. Like I said, all of the leaves died off when I first brought this here. Surprisingly, it has sprung back to life and looks really good. A lot of new growth. Now that I have the croton out, I'm going to make sure to rinse all of the dirt later, but let me deal with the Madagascar periwinkles. This one, their roots are like so much more delicate. You can kind of see how many little ones are dancing around in there. So I don't want to break too many of them apart, but it is a pretty resilient plant, and I'm sure that the roots will grow back, so I'm not too worried on that. And I'm also gonna pluck off some of these dying leaves that I see as well once I'm done getting these out of here. But it's kind of disappointing they haven't flowered in Florida. They are so gorgeous, but again, I think they thrive in full sun. This is definitely a plant I'm going to put outside once it's warm enough here in New York. These are actually pretty easy to separate. I got one out already. A lot of the dirt is still on here. I will give these a good rinse to make sure I've gotten rid of all of the, what are they called? Eggs, gnat eggs that are probably in here. I'm like terrified to look closely at the soil in this bag as well. Like, Lord knows how many freaking bugs are in here. So I have lost a couple of these roots, but look how gorgeous these roots are. They're super nice. Probably some of the most satisfying roots I've seen in a while. Like, it was so easy to separate them and to get them apart from the plant, which is really nice. All right, so yeah, we have it out as well. So exciting. That was so much easier than when I was trying to separate the Pilea roots, the Pilea peperomioides roots, which I didn't do a good job doing. So I'm going to, while I'm here, pick off a bunch of these leaves that are kind of gone yellow. This plant, like I said, was like part of this I got in Florida, like little babies that were growing, and it was so small. Let me see if I still have a picture to show you guys, but it has grown a lot. Like these new leaves are all new, but the growth isn't that impressive. So I'm gonna kind of rip off these older leaves that are yellowing, starting to go, and hopefully it'll give some energy for these new leaves here. I'm gonna take all of this to the sink that I have taken out and kind of close this bag so none of the flies escape on me while I do that, and also rinse this completely out, scrub it, make sure it's nice and clean so that there are no gnat eggs or remnants on any of the soil, and hopefully that will get rid of them on this plant for good. I'll be back. Okay, I am back with a clean pot and clean as can be roots. Look at the difference. I got as much as I could off without kind of damaging the roots. I was trying to be really careful. There's maybe like a little residue here or there, but I think I blasted as much of it off as I could. Here are the Madagascar periwinkles, which I am super impressed with the roots on. I have not seen these up close and they look gorgeous, like angel hair spaghetti or something. Super gorge. And then the croton here, tried to get as much of that off as possible. So we're good, and clean pot. Hopefully this will be good as new. A fresh plant with a fresh start. That's all I can ask for. You know, I just want my plants to be happy and healthy. That's all. So I'm just mixing it together. I had some of this like leftover mulchy soil with some slow release fertilizer in or something, and then I have my whatever potting mix here. I'm not at the level where I mix my own soil. I have done research on it because I am considering it, but it's really hard to do just to have like all that stuff living in the city in a 2-bedroom apartment. It's just not a lot you can keep, especially when, unfortunately, it is warm like 2 months of the year. It's winter most of it. I hate it. I'm a Florida girl at heart, which is probably why I love these kind of tropical plants so much, and I try to grow them here and do my best. So yeah, I'm just kind of like putting these all in the soil. They're kind of tangling together, but they were before and they still kind of separated really easily and were not choking each other too much. So this is how I assume they do it in nature. I'm not one to change that, but I do want to give the roots some room to kind of grow more, grow down. They weren't root bound or anything like that when I took them out of the pot, so I think they're good in this. What is this, 6 inches? What's 6 inches? I don't know. I do not know. I kind of want this to be more in the middle. This is all fresh soil, so it should be fine. Or, you know, not the soil that it had before. That's still wrapped up in a bag. Shamed. Okay. What if right now I had just seen gnats in the soil? Wouldn't you just like end it all? I would. But we're good. I don't see anything crawling around. Gonna put that there and that there, because I tend to feel like this one is shorter because it's like been in the back and it doesn't get as much light, so kind of gonna switch that up and see if that helps. In case you couldn't tell, I do get a lot of my plants from Florida. Not all of them, but when I was like plant crazed, like addicted, like had just come off of having some and wanted to get more, I was in Florida for the holidays. And of course my mom has this like garden where everything is growing and beautiful, and she's like, oh my god, I've got this plant that has a little baby, take it. I've got this plant that has a little baby, just take it, just take it. And I wrapped them up and brought them with me and have been growing them for months, and most of them have just blossomed and done incredibly well. I've had a couple that haven't made it that well. I think either their roots weren't as strong or the conditions here weren't that good. I mean, I brought them in the middle of winter, so I am like so pleased. Like, I brought this here in winter and it has done so well and grown. So, and it hasn't even been like summer yet, you know? So I am pretty pleased with a lot of the plants I have, and even though a couple of them didn't make it, I have them either propagating or trying again. So there we have it. Replanted, repotted, little pot of Florida joy. So let's conquer the fern now. I'm going to set my soil aside that is not damaged and from bugs. I'm gonna open this bag back up of depression and do the same thing here, where I knock as much of this out as I can without causing too much damage. So yeah, I have this right now. This was like one of those things where I came back with all these plants and didn't have nearly enough pots or vessels to put them in. So we had this like tin, but it has worked so perfectly with this. I think it looks so cute because it's got all these little ferns and flowers growing, and it just looks too cute in here to like for me to ever repot it into something else. So I am gonna check out the roots on this too and see if that hasn't done any damage. Oop, it's coming out. It's coming out. Pretty good. It looks pretty good. Doesn't look root bound, which is nice. I think ferns roots really kind of grow on the surface a lot from what I've noticed. They like kind of wrap around here. So I think they look really, really good. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I see them, I see them. I see the gnats on here in the soil. It's so bad. This is really gross. Of course I didn't put my gloves on before doing this, but you know, gotta get down and dirty with it. It is truly disgusting. I see them crawling around. Ugh. Yeah, so I'm just trying to get as much of this in the bag as possible and not have it fly everywhere else and get somewhere else and on other plants. Oh my god, I see, oh god, these are like annoying little critters, huh? Okay. So I think that's probably as much as I can do with my hand. I'm gonna take this over to the sink now and what is that? Take this over to the sink now, rinse this tin out, which I think is fine to keep it in because the roots are not nearly big enough to be rotting right now. Like, they're really still shallow in the dish, so I think a lot of the water is draining down and not affecting the roots. So I'm gonna give this a good rinse in the sink and I will be back. I am back with the fern rinsed off. There was a lot of dirt clinging to the roots. They're super thin and I didn't want to rip off some, like a lot of them. A couple of them did start coming off with everything, with all the pressure of the water and everything. But this was kind of the best that I could do to knock everything off, which is fine by me. Hopefully it's enough though to get rid of all of the bugs, and there's no eggs in this stuff, so I'll let you guys know if that worked. But I've got a clean pot and see my own reflection in it. Hello. And time to repot. And I'm gonna actually give it a little more height than I had before because I have so many small leaves that seem to not be getting enough light because they're just like slightly in the shadow of the tin. on the outside, so I'm gonna make sure that they're right on the top of the soil. Kind of loop this back in how it was. I do not know how this thing fit in here. This is craziness. It's actually so interesting how these roots kind of twist and grow and like trail out. But here it is. And I don't think I lost any of the little things that were coming along. If anything, I've exposed them a little more to more light. So hopefully that will be a good thing. And there we have it. Repotted, healthy, and hopefully fungus gnat free. So I'm going to spray these down, and I will definitely keep you guys updated on if that got rid of them. Fingers crossed. Thanks so much. Bye. Cut to me legit 2 minutes after finishing repotting these freaking plants. Look at my Buddhist pine. I look at the soil, and what do you see crawling around? You can't see them on camera right now, but 2 minutes ago, I saw a silver little thing running around, and then I saw like 3 of them, and I was like, are you kidding me? I swear these guys are everywhere, and it's really annoying. I've already put away my soil for the day. I cleaned off my tarp, and I just don't want to deal with this today. Also, take a look at these new leaves, so cute. But yeah, I don't want to deal with this today, and my plan of action is to actually wrap a bag around the bottom of this, cut it really tight, and hopefully suffocate them. I don't know, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but it'll be a fun experiment to see if it was more effective to do that or to completely repot them, because today's not my day.